Hello everyone, I'm Noah. In this video, I will be briefly describing what exactly Web3 is, its key features, and how it differs from previous generation of internet. Now, Web3 is referred to as a new evolution of internet that mainly focuses on ownership. In order for us to really understand what Web3 is and what it offers, we have to look at the previous generations before it, that is Web 1 and Web 2. We start with Web 1. Web 1, which is the first generation of internet, is referred to as the read-only web. Here, you only had like static web pages and blog posts that you could only read. You couldn't interact with them. You could, only read them. That's why they were called the read-only web. So when we come to Web 2, Web 2 is referred to as the read and write web. Here, you couldn't only read content, you could also interact with them. So you could leave a like, you could share, you could comment, you could, leave a review, you could rate a movie. Those are examples of interactions. Those are how we interact with content on the internet. So in Web 2, we could read and we could interact with content. The only caveat about Web 2 is that it usually involves us giving companies control over our data. So when we interact with content on these centralized platforms like Google and Facebook, the data that is created is, we don't have access to it. It's stored somewhere, stored in a server somewhere that only those companies have access to. And that is really something to remember, because it is I'll say, pain point that Web3 aims to solve. Now, as I said earlier, Web3 refers to, it is a new evolution of internet that focuses on ownership, right? And this is powered by blockchain technology. The goal of Web3 is to almost shift control from these large corporations to the individual user, right? Making it possible for the individual user to own their digital identity, to own digital data, to own digital assets, like cryptocurrencies, to own digital IPs, digital intellectual properties like NFTs, to own digital real estate, like, in the metaverse. And it's already gotten to the point where you could own digital representations of real world assets, which is, made possible by tokenization, which, by the way, it's a revolutionary technology. It's pretty revolutionary, right? So that is the main essence of Web3: ownership, shifting control from large corporations to individual users. That's the main idea of Web3: ownership. If I could summarize it in one word, it is ownership, right? Ownership. So I really hope I've been able to do, I would say, decent justice to this topic. If you have any questions, you can just leave them in the comment below. So until next time, friends, take care.